Away from the grime of the street, the Desai mansion stood as a monument to silent power. Inside the study, where the air smelled of expensive sandalwood and old secrets, Shraddha Desai sat in a high-backed leather chair. She was the architect of the family's legacy, a woman who viewed the world through the lens of preservation. To her, Vedant's current life wasn't a noble penance, it was a stain that needed to be scrubbed away. Shraddha looked down at a burner phone on her desk, the screen still glowing with the confirmation of the failed attack. She had been the one to hire the gangsters and authorize the test of his resolve. She believed that by pushing him to the brink of ruin, he would eventually crawl back to the safety of his CEO chair and leave Girisha behind. For Shraddha, love was a luxury, but the bloodline was a mandate. In a starkly different corner of the city, tucked away in a windowless room, lit only by the flickering blue light of surveillance monitors, Anushka, known now as Maya, sat in silence. She didn't have the Desai wealth, but she had a singular burning focus. Her walls were covered in printed photos and maps, a web of connections all leading back to one woman, Aunt Priya. Anushka reached out and moved a black knight across a small chess set on her desk. To her, this wasn't a conflict of emotions. It was a game of strategic erasure. She watched the screens with a predatory patience, waiting for the moment when the Ratnaparki family felt most secure. A reunion, she whispered to the empty room, her eyes narrowing at the feed. The perfect time for a fall. At the Ratnaparki mansion, the heavy iron gates swung open to welcome a black SUV. Akshodaya, the elder son, stepped out first, his face weary from travel but brightening as he looked at his home. He turned back to the car, extending a steady hand to help his grandmother, Rocky, step onto the driveway. The air was filled with the scent of jasmine and the electric hum of a family coming back together. Aunt Priya ran down the marble steps, her silk saree fluttering behind her. She didn't wait for Akshodaya to reach the door. She met him halfway in a fierce, tearful embrace. The weight of the recent months seemed to lift from her shoulders for a brief moment. In the safety of her son's return, the threats of the outside world felt like distant echoes, easily ignored in the warmth of his presence. While the reunion unfolded, the younger son, Shreyas, worked with Suraj to unload the heavy leather suitcases from the trunk. Shreyas laughed as he hoisted a particularly large bag, ribbing Suraj about the amount of luggage they had brought back. They were brothers bonded by shared history, unaware that every smile and every playful shove was being recorded and transmitted to a dark room across the city.